Hey guys, Clint from RFX CrossFit. I'm the manager here and also the head programmer. I just wanted to chat to you a little bit about class programming or individual programming, because at the moment individual or custom programming is a bit of a hot topic going around, and there's so many different services out there right now that are selling this individualized programming. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to go through a few points to help you decide what's going to be the best for you. So the first thing I wanted to touch base on is there's no wrong, there's just different. There are so many times when you get into a conversation with somebody and they're telling you how much better their program is. You get into a conversation with somebody else and how much better their program is, who's doing the best thing, who isn't. But at the end of the day, the best program is the one that works for you, okay? So, and each athlete is different. So you might have an athlete that requires a lot more strength work. To get better, you might have an athlete that requires a lot more conditioning work. You might have an athlete that needs very little volume or very high volume to get better, and that's completely dependent on each person. So looking at each program as which program is better than another program is not necessarily a good way of looking at it, okay? So you want to look at which program or try to work out what is going to make you better. So, which leads me to my next point. Which program will give you the best results? The one that's specifically programmed for you, or the one that you're going to follow? Because let me tell you, you could have the best program on the face of this planet, but if you're not going to follow that program, you're not going to get the results. I'm guilty of this myself. Sometimes I write myself these amazing programs. I'm like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to crush it, it's going to be perfect for me. And I find myself missing days or not getting things done because you know, I'm not motivated one day, or I'm finding it hard to fit it in. Whereas in a situation where I jump into a class, like, yes, it might not be ideal, but I'm getting my training in for the day, I'm enjoying it, and it's happening. So, you know, is it the program that's not necessarily the most perfect program for me, or the one that's perfect that I'm not going to do? So that's something that you need to consider. When would you consider going to individual programming? Well, again, that's very personal. For the most part, I think you could get away with starting CrossFit and training just your normal class programs for years, you know, 3-4 years at times before you even get to a point where you've stopped getting better. How do you know you're at that point? Well, you should be testing regularly in your gym program. And when you get to a point where you find that you're not progressing regularly, you might want to start to look at things like adding extras into your program, or looking down that sort of alleyway of what could I do more to get better. Also, if you aren't into CrossFit as a sport, if you're not competitively out there trying to win competitions and trying to make it, you know, big, you've got to sort of work out like what's going to be best for you. Are you doing this for enjoyment? Are you just wanting to get as good as you can but without putting too much extra stress in your life? Or does it mean everything to you to go to the games or go to regionals or to do the best at the next competition that you possibly can? Cost is a point that you want to consider as well. It's not cheap to do individual programming. If you're doing a program from the US, you're generally going to find that it's around about anywhere from $200 to $350 US per month, which works out quite a bit. Or in Australia, you can get programs from around $60 a week. The support is different. When you're in club, you get your coaches. They've got eyes on you. They know what you're doing with your programming. They're going to help you out. They're going to push you in the right direction. When you're doing individual programming, you aren't necessarily going to have those eyes on you and be in that supportive environment as much as you would if you were attending the regular gym classes. And again, it can be quite lonely, so you've got to have that certain kind of mindset to be able to jump into training, get it done, motivate yourself, not worry about other people around you so much, and it can be quite tough on that side of the spectrum. So on the other side of the coin, it is good in a sense that someone will specifically look at your weaknesses if the program is done well, and they will write a program to target you specifically towards the goals of where you want to go at what time. So you will potentially progress faster on an individual program, but you're going to get gains quite fast to begin with anyway in any CrossFit program for the first couple of years. So kind of in a sense, I've sort of pointed out, you know, some small positives to individual program and also more sort of pointed towards that it's not necessarily for everybody. I think that it shouldn't be something that's jumped into lightly. I think being a part of the classes, providing a gym provides a structured program of decent CrossFit workouts and progressions, then you're going to get so much out of the class, probably more than you need for the majority of people. But there is definitely a time and a place for individual programming, and it's something that you should consider once you've got to a certain level of CrossFit where you feel like you're stagnating and you're ready for that next step. And I would probably start with your own gym, maybe chatting to the coaches in your gym and seeing what they recommend or if they offer that as a service, because most gyms are starting to do that, and go from there.